Can you hear me in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you in that.
Okay. I got you. Okay. Oh. You have got to speak up for me, though.
I'm having issues talking alone.
Well, that's perfect. What you're doing right now is
That's
perfect.
screaming.
You're not screaming.
To me, I am.
You're using your teacher voice. That's all.
I can't do that for an hour and a half. I'm like this out there at night.
You'll be fine.
I never sound like that all the way through.
I know. Try.
I sound like Phil Dunphy off of what's that show?
I don't know.
Modern Family.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. We'll sound like him then. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of From Art to Atoms,
The Ultimate Curiosity Show.
I'm Brandon Shoemaker.
This is Michael Foles.
And this week's special episode is coming to you on an atypical day of the week, on Tuesday instead of Thursday. So you're receiving this episode a couple of days early. We will not be releasing an episode on Thursday since we will be enjoying our Boxing Day after a nice long Christmas day. What?
I'm glad you figured out that Christmas was on Wednesday and not Thursday. Boy, because if you would have shown up on Christmas Day or showed up the day after Christmas, we're leaving. We're heading out of town.
Yeah, I know. I would have figured that out, but then the podcast would have been thrown off. So since this is releasing on Christmas Eve, we know many of you may not be listening to it on the day it's released, unless you have a long drive that you have to go through.
I was going to say, we sure hope you're not. We sure hope you're spending time with your friends and family.
Yeah. But if you have an hour or more of a drive, then download the podcast.
I'll make Thomas listen to it on our drive to New Orleans.
There you
on
go.
The day after Christmas.
And if you're so inclined, we are recording video this episode. So hop on over to YouTube and you can see the absolutely ridiculous hat that Michael is wearing for Christmas.
Well, today at school, we had a tree topper day, I guess it was.
And that's your tree topper?
Well, it was, yeah, it's anything on top of your head.
What is okay?
It's elf legs.
It's okay. I thought it was supposed to be elf legs, but what it looks like to me is a bedazzled turkey.
No, it's elf legs. It looks like a turkey because it doesn't have the little jingle balls right here. Jingle bells right there. Sorry.
No, that would be jingle balls. They were there.
I've been doing this all day.
Oh, God.
Jingle balls, jingle balls.
Well, that was like me earlier with my Snoopy slippers.
All right, I'm taking this off. So if you didn't see this, oh well.
Yeah. His head's getting too hot, I'm sure.
No lie, man. No lie. There's no heat escaping off of that bald head.
Hey. So today, in honor of Christmas, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite Christmas traditions from childhood on through to today.
Yeah. So there are several. We both come from two different areas of the United States. It's going to be interesting to kind of see how both areas regionally celebrate Christmas differently. Yeah,
because Michael's from New Orleans, of course. He's mentioned that before. And I've mentioned before that I'm from the Carolinas. And so, yeah, regionally, there are some stark differences there. But, for mine, at least, I'm really going to be focusing more on specific family traditions and things like that are more just, I guess, personal to me and to my family than region. So I might not be that great of a source today for regional traditions at Christmas.
To be fair, his region is not really as impressive as my region is. So
the Carolinas are very rich with history and
I did not
culture.
Say they're not. I said the region you're from. What town are you from?
Oh, you mean town? Yeah, the Charlotte area.
Yeah.
I know. Banking is all that there is there, really.
Yeah.
So my traditions, like I said, they range from just things that our family did each year in terms of, celebrating here versus there, or dad's side of the family versus mom's side of the family, and just things that sort of became tradition for us by happenstance, really. For example, every year my family, so when I was growing up, I was an only child, and mom and dad and myself lived in upstate South Carolina, and my dad's family lived about 2 hours away outside of Charlotte, and my mom's family lived about 45 minutes to an hour away in Spartanburg County with us, but still, distant. We were kind of scattered around the county, really. And so for every year on Christmas Eve, mom, dad, and myself would go up to my dad's side of the family, and we would stay with my Aunt Vicky and Uncle Dennis. And so we would usually stay a few days because, their kids are my age. David is the same age as me, and then Emily is like 18 months younger. So they were the closest that I had to siblings. And we always had a great time every Christmas. And Christmas Eve, we would go to my dad's mother's house. So my grandmother on my dad's side, who we called Ma Days, and they would host the whole family the night of Christmas Eve. And as we got older and our aunts and uncles got older, it gradually turned into Christmas Eve afternoon because nobody wanted to be out that late. And that was even problematic for my cousin Emily, because when we would be leaving, it was usually fairly late into the night on Christmas Eve. And Emily was always worried that we weren't going to get back to South Carolina in time for Santa Claus and that he was going to pass us by.
Uh-huh.
So that was always her biggest concern for me on Christmas Eve. But we were always home. Usually we got home like around 11 or so.
That's pretty late.
It was, especially, when I was younger and we would get home and mom and dad would be like, okay, you got to go straight to bed.
Yeah. Especially after being out for Christmas, you're kind of wired there.
Exactly. So usually though, I've always, anytime I'm in a moving car that I'm not driving, my inclination is to fall fast asleep. So I would usually fall asleep on the 2-hour ride home.
Yeah.
And then it was, when I was really little, it was just a matter of dad carrying me up to bed. But as I got older, I had heard of other families doing this tradition. And so this next tradition kind of came about because I specifically asked for it.
Okay.
And that was the tradition of everybody in the family opening one Christmas present the night of Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And so at first my parents were like, what? No, that's cheating. Da, 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 da. But I was like, but so-and-so's family does it.
Do you get to pick the present that you want to open, or did they pick it?
No, they would pick it.
See, they cheated.
Yeah.
They're going to pick the cheapest one.
Yes.
Like, you get a stocking stuffer.
Like, there was one year when I got a keyboard, like a music keyboard, but it had, this was long before Amazon was a thing. But my mom, she would love Amazon today. Oh my gosh. She would be an Amazon shopaholic. But she started shopping through QVC.
Okay.
And the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah.
And so she had bought my keyboard from QVC. And when they delivered it, it came just in the box packaging with a shipping label on it. So you could see exactly what it was.
Right.
And at that time, I was getting home from school on the bus before mom had gotten home and before dad got home. And so I was usually the first one to the house. So I got there and I'll never forget, I saw the box propped up against the door.
Uh-huh.
And I went inside and I called mom and I said, well, mom, let me start by saying thanks for the keyboard. And she got mad at me.
You shouldn't have said anything at all.
She got mad at me as if it was my fault.
You should act like you didn't see anything. Like it was delivered after you got home.
Well, I mean, it was up against it. I guess I should have just thought to
act
leave it
like
there,
you,
act like,
I'm saying, I didn't see anything at all, Mom. I don't know what you're talking about.
So that year, the Christmas present that I opened was that, because I already knew that I was getting it.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was our Christmas Eve traditions when I was little. And then as an adult, and started when I was still in college, one of mine, and definitely one of my Aunt Vicky's favorite Christmas traditions that happened on Christmas Eve was the tradition of she and I sitting up all night wrapping Christmas presents together.
Okay.
And we would basically kind of sit there and gossip the whole time, about the whole family and stuff. But I think what really kind of stuck out for her was when I chose to come out to her.
Okay.
And so, she was
You had to do that on Jesus' birthday.
We were sitting there and we were just kind of spilling our guts about everybody else in the family.
Always the gays.
So, so I did. And of course she was just, fantastic about it and whatnot. And so I think that was like kind of part of what solidified that tradition for her. Although today it's more like, we got to get these Christmas presents done. When are we going to wrap them? And so we usually get them done well ahead of time. And this year, since I'm not going home until after Christmas, she's got to do them all without me. And she's a little bit salty about that, but
she'll be okay.
Yeah. What about you? What are your Christmas Eve traditions?
That's just Christmas Eve?
Yeah. Oh, I got a lot more.
So, we grew up in a 2-household family. Mom's side, we live with mom. So we would always spend Christmas Day with her family.
Mm-hmm.
And we would always go to my dad's side of the family, on Christmas Eve. And so growing up, there were four of us in a group of cousins. We were the 4 original grandkids, born within 2 years of each other. And so we kind of started the tradition. And then when Brandon came along,
not me.
Yeah, not you, my cousin Brandon, and my younger brother Jarrett came along. They were the next 2, and then Josh and Lauren came out, and they were kind of spaced out a little bit, like maybe 2 years in between. Jared and Brandon were really close together.
Yeah.
And I want to say they were maybe 6 years younger than us. So you have the 4 originals, then 6 years in between, then 2, then like maybe another year with Josh, and then 2 years Lauren, kind of thing. So
yeah,
we had 10 years where we were all kids.
Yeah.
And so my grandfather used to dress up as Santa Claus. And this is like the early mid 80s, And so that was the thing. We'd go to my grandparents' house and they had a den, and we'd all be in there in the den. And then all of a sudden you'd hear the bells ringing, and it was Pawpaw coming from outside the patio. But they'd always prime the kids up and say, don't look outside the curtains, because my grandparents had this big glass door that led out to the patio. And they'd always tell us not to look behind the curtains because Joel LaRock was back there. And if Joel LaRock was going to get you.
Who?
Joel LaRock was like the demon. I don't know what it was. It was something they would use to scare us.
Kind of like a Krampus?
Yes.
Okay.
You weren't allowed to look behind there. And so my grandfather would come in through the kitchen, and then he'd disappear through the kitchen. But they always did something where they'd like make noise on the roof somehow to make it sound like somebody was up there,
I could just rely on the raccoons.
But so that was our thing. And so, we stopped it maybe 25 years ago. We stopped doing that. My grandfather died in 2004, so it's been 20 years now.
Yeah.
And so
in other words, he did that up until he died.
No, he stopped doing that up until maybe because I remember being like maybe 15, and they had to put me in the suit to do it for my smaller cousins.
Oh, okay.
And I think Casey did it, or my older cousins did it, and my aunt did it. And so, because Pawpaw was kind of like, I don't know, he just kind of stopped, I think it was health issues or something like that.
Yeah.
So just recently, I want to say maybe in the last 5 years, Brandon's has a set of twins, and then 2 more almost a year apart from each other from the twins. And Lauren, my younger cousin, has kids now, and Marcel's got kids, so they all started having kids. So it's kind of like the next generation of cousins. Yeah. And so my aunt, who now lives in the house, wanted to start that back up again. So I remember, I think it was probably 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Dad was still alive. So maybe 2017, 2018. Anyway, she had me get in the stupid Santa Claus costume again, and we started all over again. So now they do it every single year again.
Yeah. Christmas morning, it was always just me, mom, and dad. And that was always nice just because that was like our special time. So that always made Christmas morning special. And when I was little, I used to look at times when it was just me, mom, and dad as kind of lonely in a way. But of course, as an adult, I look back on that very fondly and really cherish
you had
those
more of it.
Memories. Yeah, really. And then Christmas night, and eventually it was the day after Christmas, is when we would have Christmas with the Johnsons, which for some reason we've that's my mom's side of the family. My mom's maiden
Okay.
name was Johnson, but for some reason we've always referred to it that way, Christmas with the Johnsons, as if it's somebody that's not even related.
That's
to
like Christmas
us.
with the Cranks. Or
Yes,
something.
it's always strange, but that's how we've always referred to it. You know, okay, and we're gonna have Christmas with the Johnsons the night after. Da, da, da.
Why don't you just say we're going to my family?
Well, she didn't say with the, well, eventually she did start saying with the Johnsons, but she would, you know, as I was younger, it was, she would say my side of the family, but it was like her mom, excuse me, her sister, who was a Hall after she was a Johnson, she and my cousin Shell would say with the Johnsons and stuff like that. And so it was
stuck.
Yeah. Cause their brother was the only one that was still a Johnson, but then
Right.
he had a larger family.
Right.
He had 3 kids, as opposed to both me and Shell were both only children.
Right.
So it was, I just always thought that was kind of quirky, though, that we were having Christmas with the Johnsons like it was, you know, neighbors or something, not family. And one thing that we didn't do it only with them, for some reason, that's the one thing that always sticks out in my mind about like our menu,
Right.
so to speak, at Maldays, is on my dad's side of the family. It was like a smorgasbord of all sorts of different stuff. You know, you could have, I mean, some years there was like spaghetti
Right.
as an option, you know, along with like the turkey and dressing and ham and stuff. There was always just all sorts of things. But my mom always made fruit salad.
Okay.
And not just any fruit salad, but it was,
Why'd she put walnuts or something in it?
no,
Thank goodness.
no, you're thinking of like the cranberry salad.
Well,
that I
no, they do fruit salad too with some kind of nut in it too.
Yeah, no, this was all fruit, but
Okay.
it was like fruit cocktail, and then bananas, and then apples, and then mandarin oranges, and all kinds of different stuff. But then as like the binding agent for the, I guess really it was more like the dressing on the salad. But anyway, she would make it with vanilla pudding mix, like the cook and serve, not the instant pudding.
Yeah.
But instead of mixing it with milk like you were supposed to, she would mix it with all the fruit juices.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love that stuff. And I need to make some because I haven't made some in several years. And nobody else made it quite the same way, except for my Aunt Reba, who I think it might have been originally her recipe. She was on my dad's side. But Mom used to make that every year for the Johnson Christmas. And so that always sticks out in my mind as being on the table.
Our families were different too as far as food too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Christmas Eve night was a complete different menu than Christmas Day for us. And
Okay.
2 different houses because, you know, my dad's side of the family really comes from, like, my grandmother came from the Mississippi country, you know, so a lot of field peas, macaroni and cheese, those kinds of traditional kind of country foods. Yeah. And she would serve those. But usually, though, on Christmas Eve, it was kind of like just we'd get a mini muffaletta tray, you know, like a mini sandwich tray.
Yeah.
And just have kind of different snack kind of hors d'oeuvres. They'd always have the little cocktail sausages and grape jelly and chili sauce and stuff like that. So those kinds of things, or the meatballs. We'd always have that kind of thing at night. And then during the next day, like Christmas, so I'd go to my mom's mom, my other grandmother's house, and she'd have the full spread of like traditional, but we'd also have gumbo. There was always that time of the season for it.
Yeah.
We'd always have oyster dressing.
Yeah,
I don't know,
you told me
you're
about
not a
that.
fan of oysters, I don't think you
well,
are.
no, but you told me about it at Thanksgiving, and that sounded actually
you
really good.
you would never know it even has oyster in it. Yeah, we chop them so fine. So I'm gonna get some patty shells while we're down there for Christmas, and I'll make them for New Year's.
Awesome.
Well, when we get back, and so we have a lot of things like those kind of special kind of, you know, foods. She would always have pralines that she made, you know, homemade pralines.
Yeah.
So just traditional New Orleans-y kind of thing, you know. And then as we got older, I think as I got older, I started kind of going towards more of the non-traditional foods. Like I remember a few years back, we were like, me and my mom were at the store, and she's like, well, what do you want for Christmas? Because I went to go spend the night at their house one time. And she's like, what do you want for Christmas dinner? You know? And I said, well, who says that we have to have turkey and stuff? Like, let's get what we want to eat.
Yeah.
So we got steaks instead, you know, and grilled out steaks. I mean, and we've kind of continued that tradition now with Thomas, because now we don't eat traditional Christmas dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We've been getting lasagna for the past couple of years on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
You know, so
I will never turn down a steak for a holiday. Let me tell you. I think when we were talking about foods at Thanksgiving and non-traditional foods, I told this story, but about hot dogs and hamburgers.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, with the war, when we may end up having a Christmas like that again this year if it stays as warm as it has been.
It's going to be 70 degrees for us on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
In this area, at least.
yeah, we might have to do hot dogs and hamburgers again.
So some other things, like, you know, and I can say regional stuff. So New Orleans has a very eclectic regional things to do for Christmas.
Yeah.
There's, you know, I don't know if it's common in other areas, but they do that, not historical homes, but houses in the,
The French Quarter?
no, not in the French Quarter per se, more in the Garden District, I guess.
Oh,
So
okay.
St. Charles Avenue, that area.
Yeah.
The people who decorate their houses actually open up their homes for people to go into and see all the decorations. in there. So they have
okay.
like a holiday home tour kind of thing.
Yeah.
That you can go to, you know. And so we also, obviously there's Christmas parades, you know, it starts with that.
Yeah.
And that leads us into Mardi Gras, because Mardi Gras Epiphany starts, I think this year Epiphany's on January 6th.
Okay.
And so that's the official start of Mardi Gras season. So it's like literally a week after New Year's, they go into Mardi Gras mode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so there's no time in between.
Yeah.
So the founder of Popeye's Chicken, Al Copeland,
Mm-hmm.
he started in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
And so he used to have his Popeye's corporate headquarters out there in New Orleans.
Mhm.
And it started with him doing the Christmas display at his house. So he used to have this huge Christmas light display at his house.
Oh, okay.
And the problem is the traffic got so bad at the house
Yeah.
that he had to move the display from his house to the corporate headquarters of Popeyes.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
so that became then kind of an homage where people would just kind of drive out to the corporate headquarters of Popeyes, and he would it was like completely decorated. I remember being like 8 years old, and they had like a fake snowmaker where they would take the big blocks of ice and just shoot it into the air.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time I've ever really seen quote unquote snow, you know.
Snow, not big blocks of ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and then when
it sounded like something out of a Mario game.
no, when he sold Popeyes though, you know, they shut down the headquarters. So then it went to he brought it, I believe he brought it to the park, one of the local parks.
Oh.
And so now there's a driving tour through one of the parks in Metairie that you can go to. But even before that, in the 80s, they used to call it, City Park would call it Christmas in the Oaks. And so it would be all the oak trees. That's what we did for the wedding.
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
And so, and I forgot when it became Celebration in the Oaks. You know, it became PC. It went away from Christmas to Celebration.
Oh, I thought it was still called Christmas.
No, it's called Celebration in the Oaks now.
Is that just what, like, I guess the local people still call it then?
Because
I kept hearing Christmas in the Oaks.
Maybe, I don't know. But, you know, so this is a massive, if you've never been to New Orleans, City Park is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, century-old oak trees with moss, and they have light displays all inside these trees. And there's a driving tour. There's a train, because remember we went on the train.
Yeah.
Which
was cold.
It was cold, yeah. It was cold when we went down there 3 years ago.
Mm.
And so they had a lot of stuff has grown. And so like when we went, we were out there 3 years ago, actually, tonight.
Yeah.
3 years ago tonight, because this is my anniversary eve.
It's tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we went the night before. And so remember they had the marshmallow, it wasn't marshmallows. It was maybe it was marshmallows.
It was marshmallows.
They had the bonfire out there, and you could cook them on that.
Yeah.
And you know, the City Park has its own amusement park, like a little small amusement park out there. So that's all opened up too.
Yeah.
For people to go to. Storyville is open.
Mm-hmm.
And Storyville is basically your fairy tales come to life.
Yeah.
So there's like a life-size Pinocchio and the whales out there. You can go inside the whale and you can, you know,
it's a really cool thing if you have little kids or something like that.
Yeah,
definitely take them to Storyville, because and even as adults, like I enjoyed it the first time.
Yeah,
you know, we went down there.
They have the three little pigs in the houses. And,
yeah,
you know, Mother Goose is in the oak tree flying on her goose. So a lot of different things there. But so that is, you know, Christmas in the Oaks is definitely one of the big things. And what we did after that, you remember what we did after that? We left City Park and then we went to go find something.
Beignets, I thought.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's been.
I was like, I just remember beignets.
That was
but
a tradition also too. About. You know, so like there's a lot of things like I remember doing that even as a kid. And Celebration of the Oaks was not as big as it is now,
Yeah.
back then. So it's really nice to see that it's grown.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a pain in the butt because you have to deal with all the traffic and everything.
Yeah, it was a little difficult.
It was
Parking and
crowded,
such,
but it really wasn't that bad, I guess.
yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't like what I'm about to talk about.
No.
So.
And so, and one of the biggest things also for me out there at Celebration of the Oaks is that they have the old Maison Blanche Mr. Bingle. And so Maison Blanche was a New Orleans department store in the 50s and 60s.
Uh-huh.
And so in the 60s, to kind of garner, I believe it was 60s, maybe 50s, but to garner business, they had one of their art directors create a character called Mr. Bingle.
Yeah.
And he was named MB because Maison Blanche, same initials. Yeah. And so it's basically this little puppet snowman with a candy cane, or no, ice cream cone for a hat, and holly berry leaves for wings. And he would, paper mache, he would sit outside Maison Blanche's department store window on Canal Street. Huge, display.
So now let me tell you guys, and I'll put a picture of Mr. Bingle on the video, but Mr. Bingle is, I mean, Michael, it means something to you because
I know.
You're a child. He kind of looks like a more slightly terrifying version of Casper the Friendly Ghost.
That's not true. He does not look like Casper.
No, he like I said, if Casper were like scary,
he's a snowman.
He doesn't look like a flying snowman. He looks like a cartoonish ghost.
Anyway, it was a puppet on a kid's show, and they did commercials, and then it just kind of boiled over. So a lot of
if you grew up seeing it like 3D, because Michael has a door hanger.
Yes.
Like a big wall hanger of Mr. Bingle. And so seeing it like that, that's what it reminds me of. But if you grew up seeing it as a puppet or 3D and stuff like that, then maybe it would be different.
And so, so Mr. Bingle was out there, like the one from the department store, because Dillard's bought Maison Blanche in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
And so they were like, we're changing everything. It's no longer going to be called Maison Blanche. We're calling everything Dillard's. And so the Maison Blanche department store on Canal Street became Dillard's.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't have the same effect anymore.
Right.
And so they put the original model, and when I say model, I don't mean like a really small thing. I mean, I'm talking something like 10 feet tall by like 20 feet long model that used to sit outside, the building. And
of Mr. Bingle.
Right. And so they finally put him in City Park every year now. They've donated it to City Park. And so City Park is now, I believe, the owner of that. And
it wasn't there when we were there.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You didn't show it to me.
I have pictures of it.
Okay, yeah. I would like to see that.
I have pictures of it. And so that's some of the New Orleans stuff, And so the other thing is like every year on Christmas Eve night, they build huge bonfires. So they're going to build bonfires on the levee all the way starting from like Baton Rouge all the way through Venice, through New Orleans and everything. And what that is meant to, and they light it at certain times, and that's meant to light the way for Papa Noel. So kind of light the way for Santa.
Yeah.
And so these huge bonfires just sit on the levee, and they just light it all the way across. And that's been going on for years. Before I was really born. Cool. They still do that, And so like growing up, it was just a very different place to grow up.
Yeah.
With a lot of things that don't make sense anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm privileged to have, like, I used to hate saying I was from New Orleans. I really did. Really. Because I had a negative view of the city.
Oh.
As a kid, it was drunks and, you know what I mean? But and as a teenager, it was like that too. But as an adult, I appreciate everything that the city has given to me and my culture.
Right.
And it's especially because I've lived out of the city now to see what other towns do. Yeah. It's just like, oh my God, there's a Christmas parade. Never. It would never compete with what I'm used to.
Right.
Yeah. But that's what you get for coming from a city with such a cultural impact.
Well, and I joked earlier, but I really don't think there is any comparison to local traditions where I grew up with any of that.
Yeah.
Just because there were plenty of things that were unique to my region and stuff like that, and more so like if you go to the coastal region like Charleston,
right, the more historical areas.
But in Charlotte, the big thing around there was McAdenville.
Okay.
And McAdenville was a town outside of Charlotte, about, I don't even know if it's it might be about 30 minutes outside of Charlotte.
Like, is it still there?
Yeah. It didn't just disappear.
Well, you just said it was.
Oh, I mean, like when I was there, that's when, yeah. Well, and two,
Like it moved after you weren't there? I
no,
mean,
no. Anyway, so but McAdenville is actually called Christmastown, USA.
Okay, I see where it's at now on the map. I'm looking. It's right outside of. It's
Yeah.
on 85, a
It's
little bit
like outside
west of Belmont.
Yeah. And so what they do, the entire town of McAdenville, I think it's like written into their laws or whatever. If you live on a certain route, you're required to go all out in terms of decorating for Christmas.
Well, I'm looking at this as the Yule Log Parade.
Yeah.
So in McAdenville, I guess it began in 1949. It pays tribute to the true spirit of community that makes McAdenville stand out during Christmas.
Yeah. Now I've never been there for the parade, but you were talking about traffic earlier. McAdenville is hugely popular because of this, and I've only ever driven the route twice because it really is a traffic nightmare. Like you have to wait on the interstate to get off to see the lights at McAdenville, because it's just that popular and just that backed up. And so you're sitting in standstill traffic for sometimes hours, depending on when you go.
Nope.
Yeah. You would lose your mind.
Nope.
You'd have to be sedated and then woken up when we actually got into the lights.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So I wasn't even going to ask you if you ever did McAdenville when you lived in Charlotte, because I know the answer.
No, I do not do traffic or people.
Yeah,
in that aspect.
So, well, the good thing is, it's just the people that you're with in your car. You're not having to you don't get out and interact.
Again,
true.
To be stuck in my car with certain people.
Yeah.
Who does not listen to this podcast, but tried to go ahead and listen to this podcast in a day.
Anyway. But it is beautiful. It is beautiful, but I've only done it twice. Once as a small child from the back seat while Dad was driving, and then once as an adult when I was in college. Charlotte and I
drove driving
in the Camaro. Yes. And so we drove through McAdenville, and
2 different experiences, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Like from the childhood experience, I remembered very little. I had the only vivid memory I had of McAdenville as a kid was seeing one of those, what are they called? Blow molds.
I don't know what that is.
A blow mold is the plastic molded yard ornaments, basically. Like you've got the plastic snowman or the plastic Santa.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's my only memory from that first experience, was seeing a plastic blow mold of a snowman in one of the front yards.
Okay.
I was probably like 4 or 5 when we did it. And then as an adult, the only thing I really remember now, because I was so focused on, driving and not hitting the car in front of me, was just the fact that there were so many houses that had their front door wide open too.
Yeah.
So that you could see inside
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was really neat, really classy. It also seemed to be a lot classier decorations when I was an adult, so I don't know if that was there were no blow molds when I went as an adult, so I don't know. It
might have been something that really wasn't that big when you were a kid, but then like Celebration of the Oaks, it evolved over the 80s and 90s.
Exactly.
And became something big,
and so
touristy kind of
well,
thing.
No, it was still big and touristy even as a kid, but I think it may have been they started passing specific regulations or what the decorations were supposed to look like,
right?
Because I don't really remember any colored lights.
It was all just white.
It all, yeah. I can't
so it
say
had
that
a lot
for
of that
fact,
Miracle on 34th Street kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm reading on their website here. So this Yule Log Parade, right? Apparently, and again, it began in 1949.
Yeah.
So they basically take this Yule log.
Yeah.
And it's on, I guess, a cart or something. And it's led by local high school bands, but this log is pulled throughout the entire historical downtown area. And then they throw it on the fire. And I'm like, this poor log is being sacrificed. It's being led through the town sacrificially. And then when it finally gets to its fire, it's we're going to dump you on and burn you.
It's like the last virgin in Pompeii.
Look, it says, the log is pulled through our historical downtown to the memorial Yule log fireplace at Legacy Park and placed upon the fire with great exuberance. I'm just these people are celebrating this poor log's death.
Well, if it's a log, it was already dead.
I understand that, but I got a picture of it. It looks really sweet. It's like, oh, you've put little googly eyes on it. You'd feel bad for it.
So
I've never gone to this town ever.
Yeah. So that's McAdenville. Like I said, I never went to the parade or anything like that. I just did the light tour through town. And then, of course, now, they have things. Well, that time that you came up at Thanksgiving a few years back.
We went to the NASCAR.
Yeah.
We went to the
Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yes.
Started doing a big light tour.
And got to go.
It was impressive, I thought.
We were in the Subaru, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to go on the track.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kept trying to drive up on the incline side.
We were all the way sideways on that guy, sitting at like a 45-degree angle, basically.
That was pretty cool.
So one thing I'll say that I do have, so Thomas has been decorating. So his mom recently passed over Christmas, so he's been getting a lot of her stuff out. A lot of the ornaments and stuff like that he's got for her tree are from his childhood. So my stuff, though, I'm not decorating for Christmas, because one tradition that we had growing up also was Mom getting mad at me and Marcel for not wanting to decorate the tree, and it would always turn into a fight.
Oh,
trying to get the lights on this tree, and getting the tree home from Home Depot, where we'd buy it from there, the lumber area. They had a fresh cut tree, so she always got a fresh cut tree, and it always turned into an argument as teenagers.
Oh,
so I do not like decorating the tree. I'm like, Thomas wants a tree, he can decorate himself. I'm not helping with the tree. I'm not doing anything with it. So I have all these ornaments. Well, my uncle started giving us ornaments when we were first born. So we have ornaments every single year, basically from 1980 to about maybe 2000 when we were 20 and he stopped.
Yeah.
And so some of the ornaments are really special to me. We each got one in 1984 that was the St. Louis Cathedral from New Orleans, from Jackson Square. It's a wooden model of the cathedral. That was the ornament.
Yeah.
In 85, we ended up Marcel got a She-Ra ornament and I got a He-Man ornament.
Oh.
And they've both, I know my He-Man sword it's been glued together because Cayman, our dog, our boxer growing up, got into the tree and ate it or jumped into the tree. There are certain ones that are really special to me that I remember.
Yeah.
There was one in 87 he got me that was a king cake. It was actually dough. And had a little baby on it. And so since that, though, that has been completely obliterated between heat and moving and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then he got me a Mr. Bingo one that was made out of dough also. That, again, has been just deteriorated over time.
Yeah.
So we do have ornaments. And Marcel, I think, puts that on her tree also. Mom has done that with, I'm going to give ornaments to every kid in the world. And I'm like, no, stop. Just don't do that. Because now as an adult, I appreciate it. But, anyway, there's that for me.
So, Christmas trees, for me, we never had a live tree because Mom did not want to have to clean up all of the needles, the dying needles and stuff like that. So, and as an adult, I 100% agree with her. When I was little, I was like, we never have a live tree. My friends have live trees. And now I'm like, you have the right idea, Mom.
There are ways to get around live trees nowadays, too, because you can buy those little, scent things to put in there in the tree.
Yeah.
That smell like pine and stuff like that.
I couldn't care less, honestly. A fake tree is just fine with me. But no, I haven't decorated a Christmas tree in years now.
I was going to say, where's your tree at if it's fine with you? You haven't even decorated a tree yet this year.
No. And I mean, honestly, we're less than a week out. I'm not going to put up a Christmas tree for a week. But
that's why you keep it up. And see, in New Orleans, what we do is we turn that tree into a Mardi Gras tree.
See, now, okay. And I don't know if this is regional or well, no, because Charlotte does the same thing. For us, it's bad luck to leave your tree up past the new year. So
I'm from New Orleans. We all about bad luck. We ain't got time for no superstition like that. We got voodoo to help us.
So I would not. Now there are a lot of families that do the tradition of not putting up the tree until Christmas Eve. Don't you remember in A Christmas Story? That's what they're doing. They're decorating the tree.
Absolutely not. You put it up for 1 day or a week?
I guess they left it up for a week or so.
What is the point?
I know. I think that is insane, but I think there are still some families that do it that way. But
I'm all for decorating prior to Christmas, especially if it's going to stay up. But so if you want to decorate after Halloween, go for it inside your house.
Yeah.
No one's going to see that but you.
Yeah.
I was our Christmas tree.
Oh God, it stays up till May.
That's not true. Not the one in the front.
COVID.
Not where people can see.
COVID year, there was still a Christmas tree up.
Was it the green one in the den?
I don't remember which one.
It was in the back. Yeah, we don't let anything be seen from the street. But in the house, no one sees that but me.
Okay.
My Christmas village stays up until March because let me tell you, she's a beast to put up.
Now, that's the thing. So that's what I was going to talk about too. So I have a Christmas village too that I inherited from my mom. Now, yours is different. Yours is a very modern, contemporary Christmas village.
Right. And we're not going to call it Christmas. We're going to call it winter. A winter village. And winter doesn't end until the end of February.
Well, mine is very much a Christmas village. And it's, in fact, Mom started collecting, it was called Dickensville. So,
okay, so like a Charles Dickens kind of look to it.
So so it's all Victorian
right.
architecture and people and stuff like that. That was the brand or the line of houses that she started collecting. Now she branched out a little bit and bought some that weren't on brand, but they were still of that style.
Right.
And so I have that, and I've actually only put it up once as an adult, and that was when I had my first apartment. As an adult, my first year teaching.
Now, your mom would be so mad at you for not putting that stuff up.
I know, and you've reminded me of that and guilted me into the fact that I am actually going to put that up. In fact, I might start working on that tonight.
You should do it just in memory of her.
I know, and I should have been doing it all this time,
and then leave it up even longer.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Christmas was a huge deal in my house growing up, so much so that for the longest time as a teenager, I swore that once I got older, once I became an adult and had a house of my own, I was going to devote one room as a Christmas room.
Oh no.
And I was going to have a Christmas tree up all year round, and I was going to have Mom's Christmas village up, and she even had a collection of angels and Santa Clauses. And we had a corner, kind of like a curio cabinet, but it was massive. And it housed all of her Santa Clauses and angels. And so those did stay up year round in that. But anyway, so yeah, the Dickensville village, I am going to put up because it's time. It's been too long. But Christmas trees, back to that. We always had an artificial one. And when I was little, my mom used to fight me on it because every year I wanted the colored lights.
See?
And she
fight. See?
And she wanted to use the white lights. And so as I got older, as 10, 11, we found a compromise. And so every other year we would do colored lights or white lights.
Oh.
But then once I became a teenager and, developed taste, I realized, oh God, I apologized. I was like, I am so sorry, Mom, that I liked those tacky lights.
Yeah. Well, trees nowadays, you could just get lights and they have the multicolored on there anyway.
Or the light color changing.
Correct. You just change them.
Yeah. That's what I would actually really like now. So.
But I mean, you remember when I was in Rocky Mount, Kmart was going out of business, right?
Yeah.
Martha Stewart had her line in Kmart right before they went out of business.
Yeah.
And they were 80% off of Christmas stuff. I was like, well, I'm going in and grabbing everything I want because I was finally living by myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of my stuff is wintry kind of colors. So it's blues and grays and whites and stuff. So a lot of my stuff is that color.
Right.
Which I like.
I do too. I had so the biggest tree I ever had was a 12-foot artificial tree in my last condo that I lived in at the beach because it had massive vaulted ceilings.
Yeah.
I've still got pictures of that tree somewhere. But anyway, but that was decorated in blues and silvers and whites and stuff. And I loved that tree. But no, so eventually in my late teen years, my last couple of years of high school and my first year of Christmas, my first year of college, we actually we had totally downgraded. Mom had put this up as a second tree for several years. She started collecting these really tiny, very fine crystal ornaments. And it was just enough to fill a tabletop tree.
Okay. So like a 3-foot tree or something.
Yeah. So we started decorating that, and it was nothing but those crystal ornaments, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Right.
And they're very fragile. So a lot of them over the years we had some that broke, the next year and so on and so forth. So I still have, as many that as aren't broken. And that's usually what I do now. If I put up a tree, I'll put up a tabletop tree and it's just those ornaments and white lights.
Well, then just do that. I mean, you like literally have nothing up right now.
I know.
Last year you put like your little trees in the windows and everything like that.
Yeah.
You didn't even take those out and put those out yet.
Because when have I had time? That's the thing. Like I would have done it. And I kept saying I was going to for a long time. But Tarzan opened December 4th.
Right. The first week of December.
Yeah. And then after that, I was exhausted. That was last week. The first week off of Tarzan was last week.
Okay.
And then I had to get caught up on podcast episodes of editing those. So I've had no time. So will you come over here and help me with it then?
Hell no. I haven't even finished putting my Christmas village up yet.
Exactly.
Because we just finished semester exams.
Because you're busy.
No, because I'm lazy. There's a difference.
Oh, well, you're lazy and I'm busy. I can't help you there then.
I also do stuff outside my house too.
Oh, the decor, you mean?
I didn't decorate the house.
I know. I
I'm
was like,
talking about
wait,
picking up leaves and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So you're busy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's a valid excuse. So yes, I am gonna. And I'll even get out my little tabletop trio of Charlie Brown pink and blue and green Christmas trees.
Okay.
And my Christmas village. I will put out Mom's Christmas village because you're right. I do owe that to her. I've got other traditions that aren't so typical.
Like what?
I guess. Well, I guess one is typical.
Tell us.
And that's Christmas movies, but specific Christmas movies. So my Uncle Dennis's favorite movie, not favorite Christmas movie, but favorite movie has always been It's a Wonderful Life. Or as we say in the rest of my family, it's a horrible movie.
Oh my goodness.
But he loves it. So every year he has to watch that.
Good for him.
Yeah. I have several that I have to watch for it to even feel like Christmas.
Like what?
And I haven't yet this year, but usually I like to watch them with people.
Okay.
Hint, hint.
Well, you need to hint to the husband because he'll watch a movie with you. I will not. I'll fall asleep.
I know, but still, your presence is requested.
Well, I'll be there in body, but not in
I know
consciousness.
That's what I'm saying. That still can't. You stay awake for movies when you care about them.
If it's a good movie, yeah.
Anyway, so I really have 3 Christmas movies that are like, and really it's only 2 that I'm like I have to watch to really feel like Christmas.
Okay.
One I've already mentioned, and that's A Christmas Story.
Okay.
Ralphie and the BB Gun have always registered with me because
you are Ralphie.
Well, yeah, and I got a BB gun. Well, actually, I didn't even want it at the time, but I got it, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then
somebody gave you a gun.
My dad, yeah.
God rest his soul.
He gave me my real guns too, so that always has resonated with me. And then the other one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through.
Oh my God, then we are watching it.
No, I can't. I'd have to be in the mood for that. Because I don't know that I can take the over the top stuff.
Huh?
Just the things that happened to Clark and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I could watch that and be like, oh, this is just funny. I think I'd be like, this is stupid.
But you'll watch somebody fart all over themselves and you think that's hilarious.
Oh, I don't know what you think I'm watching.
Anything with fart jokes in it.
What movie did I watch that in?
Any of them where they're all like in the bathroom and you think it's hilarious.
No, I don't.
You lie.
I don't.
Everybody can see it and hear it in your voice. Potty humor. If it's not potty humor, you don't think it's funny. Anyway, so Christmas Vacation, we will watch that. It's probably the least over the top stuff. The stuff with the neighbors is pretty over the top, but it's hilarious. So, but anyway, so that's one that I can just watch by myself if need be.
Well, good. Let's do that.
No, I want to share that with you.
Some things are better left unshared.
I want that to be a shared experience that we all have this Christmas season.
Well, then you need to share it with Thomas, not with me.
And another, well, I guess it's really both of them. I like both of them, but it was really the second one. The Home Alone movies, Home 1 and 2, not those other stupid sequels that came after.
I saw a parody of that the other day.
Oh, well, especially Home Alone 2, because there's just one Christmas memory where it was me and my cousin David and my cousin Emily and her best friend Liz on Vicky's old couch that she hated, but we loved because it was so cushy and comfy. And it was the four of us sitting on the couch just watching Home Alone 2 into the wee hours of the morning and laughing our rear ends off. So what are your non-traditional traditions?
At this point, I only have one to really talk about. And
What?
This is the stupidest one, but I kid you not. I do it every year because it doesn't feel right without doing it. So, before I met Brandon in 2001.
Oh, at first I thought, I was going to say, you mean Thomas?
No, before I met Brandon in 2001, I worked for a company in Virginia Beach. You know where we're going with this? Every year I have to play this. It's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I worked for Chuck E. Cheese. And so, and if you worked for them at all, you know about their shows, right? And so they would do a show in January through March. You'd play the same show for like 3 months straight. Mm-hmm. So as an employee, you were sitting and listening to this show all day, all long, rotating for 3 months. And then there was
they're only like an hour or so long.
Yeah, they're little.
So you're hearing that
like
on
that,
repeat every
and
hour.
So they did one from January through March, then April through June, and then they did their summer show, and then they did September to November, and then Christmas came out. They did one for Christmas. Okay, and so I was there for 2 Christmas shows. Like they redid one. 2001 had the old one from 99 to 2001, and then 2002 on they did a new one. And so for me, it just brings back a lot of memories of that time period for me. So I found it on YouTube, and I'll listen to that all day if I could. And to Thomas's, he doesn't really notice because he's got his AirPods in listening to his books. But when I'm decorating, that's what I'll put on. Instead of traditional Christmas music, I'll listen to that.
Yeah.
And to me, though, that's a tradition for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have not heard that, there are some good songs on there too. There really are.
No, there are. Well, and I will say, because I've always liked non-traditional Christmas music. So just today at our theater Christmas party, we played one of them while they were playing, rap the...
Which one?
They play a game where they wrap a new person, a rookie, in Christmas paper.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, well, we have to play this song while we do it. And it's Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses.
Oh, I hate that song.
Oh, my God. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
I hate that song.
Oh, you're killing me.
Bah humbug. Let's begin. What
yes.
Is it? Yeah, I hate that song.
Oh,
I think it's the Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas. But I think I'll miss this one this year. Merry Christmas.
I think
Merry
it's that. I think it's that part.
I love it.
And the Yeah, no, I hate that one.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, so there's that one, and then all of the I think it's called A Christmas Gift from Phil Spector, or Merry Christmas from Phil Spector, something like that. But anyway, it's all the Phil Spector girl groups from the 60s. And that's where you have the Ronettes and things like that. And that's where you got Marshmallow. What is it? Marshmallow World.
I have no idea.
There's a song. It was popular in Target ads at Christmas a few years ago.
Okay.
Marshmallow World. That's the name of it, I'm sure now. You get that. And, all those 1960s Christmas songs.
While you're pulling up mine, so if I had to pick one from that time frame, Christmas wise, non-traditional, would be Stevie Wonder's "Someday at Christmas."
Ooh,
I do like that one.
Oh, the album is A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector. The Darlene Love. Oh, Darlene Love is the one that I was trying to think of before. But the Darlene Love version of White Christmas was on there. The Ronettes, Frosty the Snowman.
Is that an album?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Let me.
And the Christmas, the Crystals, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the fast tempo one.
Can I find it in Apple?
Yeah. It's in Apple.
What's the name of it?
A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector. That whole album
There
I
you go.
love. I would love to get that on vinyl, actually.
Do they have it on vinyl?
I'm sure, but it probably costs a fortune now. But
1963.
Darlene Loves Christmas, Baby Please Come Home. That's the one I was trying to think of. Ooh, All Alone on Christmas. Another Darlene Love song. I love her stuff.
Pick 2 gifts that Santa Claus brought you. Meaning, what 2 gifts do you remember? 2 best gifts that you remember when you still believed.
Okay.
Okay, do that.
So the one that sticks out the most to me is Castle Grayskull.
Okay.
I still remember. Oh, I know my second one. It was maybe the next year or the year before. I forget the order. But yeah, when I came down the stairs Christmas morning and saw Castle Grayskull under.
Now, was that guy set up like everything was set up and you had figures and everything like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I had all the figures upstairs already. But yeah. So when I saw Castle Grayskull, I was ecstatic. And then the other one, which maybe it was the same Christmas. I don't know. It was either the same Christmas or it was a year apart. But it was when I came downstairs and
you saw She-Ra's tower,
No.
the castle from She-Ra.
no, I never had She-Ra's castle. Whatever.
You
that
wanted
was
it though.
I did.
Was it Crystal Palace?
No. Oh yeah, that's what it was called. It was Voltron.
Okay, the old metal one.
When I had my Voltron and he was fully assembled and set up and stuff when I came downstairs. So that was now as an adult, 2. I have 2 that are in my top.
Okay.
One was, and you're probably going to know it because you distinctly probably remember it because you were like, well, I might as well not even try this year. It was when Charlotte gave me signed script
from the Golden
Girls
Yeah.
episode. That sent me over the moon.
Yeah.
But then the next one was again either the year after or the year before. I can't remember which. And it was actually one that you gave me.
Uh-oh.
It was the Lego edition of Voltron.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I don't even think you have anywhere built.
I built one lion.
Shameful.
And that's all I've gotten. I have plans. I have plans.
Okay, so my 2 as a kid, I remember I was probably maybe 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Santa got me a Muppet Babies drum set. And it was like just the big drum in the middle, and it had like 2 of the small drums right here and a cymbal on it. That's all it was. And I remember it was
so you could play like Animal.
It was so bad. My mom put that thing out in the garage, which was not attached to the house, and that's where she told me to play the drums.
Oh wow.
Okay, so that was one. That was before like 8 years old, and so like I want to say that maybe I was probably maybe 9 or 10 for this one. Mom got me a Pee-wee's Playhouse set. Which was like the foldable set that you had all the figures.
Yeah.
If I could, as an adult, get that, I would love to have that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'd love to have. And then as an adult, best gift.
Your husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sap.
I will say our wedding is our anniversary is December 20th. That was the best gift I've received for Christmas ever, was our wedding. Like it really was.
Yeah.
Like that is, if I had to play one day over in my life over and over and over again, it'd probably be those 2 days, like the day before and the day after, or the day of.
It was a great wedding.
know.
It was one of the best weddings I've been to. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But
I definitely would
fantastic.
enjoy more of the food. I don't remember any of the food.
Oh, you missed
but anyway,
it. Oh, the food was so good.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would. That's, yeah.
You don't have a second one as an adult? Hard to top that, I get.
Not really. Not really. Like an adult, nothing. Thomas is not good at giving gifts.
Oh!
That's not a secret. He knows this.
Yeah.
He knows this. And so,
and
like,
you have always been very good at giving gifts.
I know.
You pride yourself on that. Though.
I do, because I put a lot of thought into it. Because my thing on gift giving like that for the year, is that you should spend time knowing me and getting to know me. That way, you know, without me having to tell you what I would like or want.
Yeah.
And Thomas is like, I need you to tell me what you want, and I'm like, I might as well just buy it myself. Like, let's just save the trouble and let me just go pick it out. And even then, I'll go through the store and I'm like, this is really nice. Oh, this looks really good. And
he doesn't pick
up on any of that. And I'm just like, okay, this is what I want. I'm pointing to it. Like, this is it. Take a picture of it. Get it out.
So 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, Michael had one request of his husband that he wanted for Christmas, and it was one of those.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of those, like,
that was
not
last
microscopic.
year.
No, it was 2 years ago. This wasn't last year.
Yeah, no, I got one last
Oh,
year.
you got one last year. So, but it was
the
one of
earwax cleaner, the earwax remover thing.
But it's with a camera mounted on it, so you can see. And Michael, being the science nerd and biology nerd that he is, thought that was fantastic. I mean, I did too. I actually got one for myself because I think they're awesome. But
man, I'll tell you what, I wanted one, and I swore up and down I was going to get it. Like, I knew
it was
I
the
dropped
one thing.
So many damn hints.
He had, yeah. And he did not get it for Christmas.
Nope. And I opened up that last box on Christmas morning, man. I was so disappointed.
I went over for Christmas the later on in the late morning, and he was just fuming as soon as I got there.
I was so upset. And so last year, he finally got, it took him a year to get the hint. I finally got one last year.
To give him the hint, you told him flat out the day of.
Yeah.
That was all you wanted.
So, and I remember opening that. I was like, Christmas is canceled. I'm going to clean my ears now. Let's get this bad boy charged up. I will tell you though, and so you'll find out this next week. So I've already told you that.
Don't tell me what I'm getting.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
But that your gift is associated with the podcast. Like, I came up with the idea to get you this gift in one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, gonna get this, and you're probably gonna cry.
Oh God. Okay.
I
will report back. Well, not next week because we've already filmed that. No, we
could post pictures on Christmas Day or after Christmas Day.
Yeah. We'll post this on
Tuesday,
Instagram,
and then on Thursday we can post.
Yeah, we'll post on Instagram.
And like I said, it's not expensive. Do not think that I went on it, but it's like, and so that's how I get Thomas too. I don't spend a lot of money, but I get the really sentimental gifts.
Yeah.
Because
and I'll say, that's as an adult, that's always mattered more to me, especially, after Mom died, and she died when I was 18. So I was young still. And, but honestly, I think that's also kind of why I have not, I've over the past few years, I've gotten a little Scrooge-ish, a little bah humbug with Christmas.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's age.
And just don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, I think it's age.
That's, yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because, like, boy, the minute October 31st hits and it's after that, I'm like, do not go nowhere near no stores. These people are about to start getting crazy on this road.
Oh, I know. It's just, and I've always hated that. Like, my favorite is not a movie, but my favorite, like, Christmas special has always been Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's always ranked. I had the good fortune to act in the stage production once, and I played Linus, which is my favorite.
Peanuts character.
He gives the monologue about the true meaning of Christmas and everything. And so I had that monologue, and the heavy commercialization of Christmas has really bothered me, especially over the past 5 to 10 years. So that really does frustrate me, and just the chaoticness, the chaos that ensues in stores and stuff like that with it. But yeah, I think, you're right. That's the true reason for my kind of bah humbuggish nature these past few years with Christmas.
Mine is just the amount of idiots out there now. Like, they've just gotten worse. It's growing. It's a growing population, I promise you.
Your patience is very low to begin with when it comes to the public at large. All right. So what are your final thoughts on Christmas traditions?
I mean, some should stay, some should go. I think it's what bonds us.
Yeah.
These things it from generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, for me, like the Santa Claus thing on Christmas Eve has come.
Yeah.
And then it went away. And then it came back. And it's probably going to do the same thing. It's probably going to cycle out. And, as we continue on. But, Thomas and I, it's going to be different this year, And you've gone through this with your parents.
Yeah. The first Christmas after a death of a parent is
right. I was never close to my dad at all, and so there was nothing there tradition wise. And then I've been away from Mom. Like, we haven't had a traditional Christmas with mom since like freshman year in college. So it's been over 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's why
so
we need to get her up here.
that's a whole nother podcast and a half. But so like this will be the first year because our traditional Christmas turned into Thomas's mom and stepdad, Glenn and B, coming up.
Yeah.
And staying with us over with the dogs, and they'd bring their dogs up, and it would just be, that would be our family.
Yeah.
You know? And that was before you got down here.
Yeah.
And then with you down here now, I don't think they've come up since you've
they
been here.
they never came up over the
But
past
we always
2
did like
years,
a-
but they still like, I mean, she sent me presents.
Right,
I
with
mean-
all of ours last year.
Yeah.
No, we had to go pick them up. Remember that? That was the
that's
last day
right.
of school for us. We had to go pick them up from Meek Glen because she couldn't
I
make
forgot
the
about
trip.
that. Yeah.
And so we would just like FaceTime her, and
Yeah.
she would just be on the phone with us, opening presents. It was kind of really
She was
weird.
still there. Yeah.
It was weird
But-
though because she was like just in her bed, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, it was like we were performing for her, opening gifts, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and she started Christmas gift buying early in the summertime.
I was about to say, didn't she start in the summer?
She did. And so, you know, and she died in July.
Yeah.
So
she already had bought
2 of my gifts.
some things. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if she bought anything for Thomas. It's just,
It is. It's hard.
it's just going to be different this year. You know, it will
Yeah.
be without her here. And so we're trying to form new, you know,
Yeah.
a new way. It's a little different though this year because we are going home.
Yeah.
Right after Christmas, like Christmas Day ends, and we on the 26th that morning we're leaving for home.
Yeah.
For Jamie's wedding.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the thing though, is as we age, as we grow up, and as the generation before us, frankly, start to die off, you know, our traditions shift. New traditions take their place. And so I think that's why the new traditions are really important for us. And it's something that and that's one thing I'll say that Vicky has a really good sort of foresight for, is establishing those traditions
okay.
and then following through with them from year to year.
Right.
So because she realizes, you know, this is going to be a formative
Time period
for them, and it's going to be what they remember.
Right.
As they get older, and that's what they're going to want to continue to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's right. And it is a little, I think, harder with people like us who don't have kids of our own, you know, because we don't have that direct feeling of a need to establish those traditions,
Right.
you know, but we're still a part of that. I'm sure you are, you know, with Liam and stuff like that. And like I am with the girls. So, you know, it's just different.
Yeah.
And it's just like everything else as we grow older, things change,
Well, you
and
know,
our perspective
though,
changes.
I was going to say, like, even people without kids
yeah.
have different traditions, you know? So, like, I mean, I'm not against starting the tradition of going on a cruise for Christmas week at all. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
I'm not against that idea.
Okay. Where do I sign up?
Everyone's with their families and we're on the boat going
Mm-hmm.
to Cancun or something. You know, I don't care.
Oh, I would love, like, seriously, I joke about the hot dog and hamburger Christmas.
Yeah.
I love that though. When it's warm on Christmas Day,
Oh, well, boo-boo, I know what you eat for Christmas lunch then.
I'll be just fine with that.
You better pray McDonald's is open. We'll get you a hot hamburger and hot dog from Sonic.
We're supposed to grill them ourselves. You love the grill. You love to grill. What are you talking about?
No, well, I do.
Not on Christmas Day.
No, I don't mind actually. It won't bother me as long as, like you said, it's hot. It's gonna be 70. We could probably do that, but
Exactly.
and Thomas will eat hot dogs. I know that's one of his favorite meals. I can't stand a hot dog.
Oh,
but-
really?
Nah, I like them sometimes, but
Yeah.
not. I tend.
Or I can make my lasagna and we can have that. And that
No,
would be
grilling's
good, too.
easier and it's easier to clean.
That's all you care about is just the mess that my lasagna makes.
You want to make it at your house and bring it over?
I was about to
Sure.
say I can prep it at my house and just bake it at yours.
No, that's where the mess comes at. It
The
spills
baking?
over.
Oh my God, it's fine. We can put a pan on the second rack.
Well, you do you. I'll say that. You do you. If you want to make the lasagna, just know the Glenn's going to be there. You got to cook for 4.
Have you seen how
yeah,
I make
know
lasagna?
how big the pan is. I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a 9x13.
Okay.
You may not be able to have the portion size that you normally want, but
I ain't worried about you.
because you would have half of it to yourself if you wanted.
Oh, I love lasagna.
Me too.
Call me Garfield.
That's about to say. All right. Well, you ready for some trivia? How about we do Christmas trivia? I've got some pulled up.
Oh, of course you do. You go first. Let's go. You give me, since I'm letting it load.
I'm not going to actually, this is not one of the questions for actually counting, but I just think it's a fun fact. How many towns in America are named Christmas?
I don't know.
2, Christmas, Michigan, and Christmas, Florida. That's why I was going to say, I've heard of Christmas, Florida, but I didn't know about Christmas, Michigan. Okay. All right. So this now for counting, starting.
Okay.
According to the Bible, what did the 3 wise men bring baby Jesus? You give up?
Yeah.
Gold,
I know there's like
gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Okay.
So you had myrrh.
Yeah. I'm 33%, baby.
Okay.
33%.
33%.
Yeah.
Battery?
All right, go.
Where was Jesus born?
Bethlehem?
Yeah. How many reindeer does Santa Claus have?
9.
Yes.
Are we including Rudolph in there?
Yeah. Can you name them?
All of them?
Yeah.
Hold on. Dasher, Dancer.
Yep.
Comet, Vixen, Blitzen. Yeah.
Think Valentine's.
Cupid. But I'm still trying to go through the stupid song in my head.
I know, you're all out of order on it.
I know. There's
Dasher, Dancer, the one they made a movie about in the 80s or early 90s.
What?
With
Dancer?
No, you said Dancer. Rhymes with Dancer.
Prancer.
Yeah. So it's Dasher, Dancer, Prancer,
Vixen, Comet, Cupid,
yeah,
Donner, Blitzen.
There you go.
Okay.
And then Rudolph. Good. In the 12 Days of Christmas song, how many French hens does the true love give?
7 French hens.
7 swans is swimming. So
okay, hold on. I got 8.
It was still foul.
8 maids of milking.
Yeah.
7 swans. So 11 French hens. 9 French hens. 10 French hens. 12 French hens.
12 drummers drumming, 11 pipers piping, 10 lords leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens.
Screw you.
2 turtle doves.
Okay.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, okay.
Where is the world famous Christmas tree placed in New York City?
In Times Square? Or Rockefeller Center?
Rockefeller Center, yes. What country is credited with starting the Christmas tree tradition in the 16th century?
Germany?
Yes. And do you know who was responsible for bringing it from the German tradition to England?
Nope.
Queen Charlotte.
Good for her.
Of Mecklenburg something. Anyway, that's why it's Mecklenburg County.
So proud of her.
What beverage company has used Santa Claus in its Christmas marketing since 1931?
That's Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Oh, in the movie A Christmas Story, what did Ralphie's aunt make him?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
I've never actually seen that movie all the way through either.
Oh. Well,
I've caught like bits and pieces of it on TBS where they play it, 24 hours. Like I'd never actually sat down at the beginning of it and watched to the end. It was always just kind of spotty here.
Oh, another stabbing in my heart. Ugh.
You'll be okay.
Well, then we're going to rectify that this year too. It was a bunny onesie.
Oh, okay. The pink
that
one.
His Aunt Clara made for him. Yes. And his mom made him try it on.
Okay. So speaking of your questions now, in the movie A Christmas Story, what was the name of the next door neighbors whose dog ate the Christmas turkey?
The Bumpuses.
Okay. In the TV special How the Grinch Stole Christmas, what 3 words best describe the Grinch?
Stink, stank, stunk.
In what modern day country was St. Nicholas born?
Ooh. It wasn't Russia, was it?
Nope.
Somewhere up there, like Scandinavia.
Nope.
Oh, I don't know then.
It's what we eat for dinner on Thanksgiving.
Turkey.
Yes.
Oh.
What Christmas carol does the Peanuts gang sing at the end of A Charlie Brown Christmas?
Loo, 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 loo.
Yep. Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Yes. According to Buddy the Elf,
Oh, God.
What are the 4 main food groups?
Oh, God. I don't know. I think syrup was one.
Syrup is one, yes.
I don't know. I've seen that movie once.
You give up?
Yeah. Syrup's all I got.
Candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
Okay.
Who recorded the melancholy holiday hit Hard Candy Christmas in 1982?
Dolly Parton.
And for what movie did she record it for?
Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
And whose favorite movie is that?
Yours.
Yeah. What's the name of the hot spice cider that Yuletime tradition for many?
Are you talking about wassail?
Yes.
Okay.
In one oddball tradition, last one, an ornament shaped like what food item is hidden on a Christmas tree? I've never heard of that one, but I got to start that one.
I feel like I've vaguely heard this before, but food-shaped Christmas ornament.
You gave one away the other night at dinner. You said, "Who wants this thing?" And Thomas was like,
a pickle?
Yeah. They put pickles on trees.
I did not know that.
I'm going to start that tradition. I'm like, Thomas, find the pickle.
Now, I have seen pickle ornaments before, so maybe that's why.
Nope. I'm going to get the pickle. I'm going to find one.
All right. Well, that does it for this Christmas episode from Art to Adams.
The Ultimate Curiosity Show.
We hope you guys enjoy your Christmas with your loved ones or your family of your choice. And we hope you will tune in again next week for another episode. Bye.
You've been listening to From Art to Adams, the Ultimate Curiosity Show, episode number 17. Your hosts are Brandon Shoemaker and myself, Michael Folse. The show is produced by Brandon Shoemaker and is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show to stay up to date on all of our latest episodes and news. If you have any questions, feedback, or suggested topics you'd like for us to dive into, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email us at FromArtToAdams@gmail.com. We would love to hear from our listeners, and we value your input. Don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated to upcoming episodes and behind-the-scene content. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube at From Art to Adams. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platforms. Your support helps us reach even more interesting minds like yours. Thanks for tuning in, and stay curious, everyone.